This page is the vibrant cover of Saturn Fan Magazine from October 1995. The bold Saturn Fan logo dominates the top, featuring a menacing image of Rastar, the transformed centaur from Golden Axe. The Duel, one of the major arcade ports getting featured coverage. The issue highlights key releases and upcoming titles for the Sega Saturn. Headlining the features are M2 powerhouses, Sega Rally Championship, Virtua Fighter 2, and Golden Axe. The Duel. The magazine also dives into strategy for SimCity 2000, Magic Knight Ray Earth, and Shining Wisdom. Breaking news covers highly anticipated titles like Dragon Force, Guardian Heroes, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Dark Savior, Battle Arena to Shinden Yura, Princess Maker 2, and Legend of Oasis. There's also exciting news about Lunar, the Silver Star making its way to the Saturn. Fans are treated to a special bonus poster featuring Jeffrey McWild from Virtua Fighter 2. This issue is packed with essential information for any Saturn owner in late 1995, covering everything from strategic sims to fighting games and highly anticipated RPGs and action titles. Urgent news also confirms the arrival of Street Fighter Alpha on the console. This page declares, "This is the planet where the three great RPGs reigned." It features three prominent Sega Saturn role-playing games from late 1995. On the left is Rig Lord Saga, known internationally as Lords of the Rising Sun. It's highlighted for its unique 4-step perspective change and 360-degree viewpoint system, utilizing CG effects and polygons for dynamic combat animations and tactical gameplay. The description emphasizes its visual impact and distinctive, addictive style. It was highly reviewed and selling for 5,800 yen. In the center is Shining Wisdom, an action RPG in the popular Shining series. It boasts realistic CG rendering for characters and aims to immerse the player. The text points out the lack of MP points for magic, instead allowing players to rapidly change character speed up to 5 levels using the controller pad, enhancing magical attack power. It's described as a satisfying action RPG, also priced at 5,800 yen and highly reviewed. On the right is Magic Knight Ray Earth. Based on the popular TV series, it features original anime and story created by the TV staff. It's designed to be enjoyable for fans and easy to pick up, with beautiful graphics that fully utilize the Saturn's capabilities. The gameplay is an action RPG format with fresh charm, including a character diary feature. It was also highly reviewed and sold for 4,800 yen. There is a small advertisement for the Sega Saturn console itself. The next page showcases the highly anticipated sequel, Puyo Puyo Tsu 2, for the Sega Saturn, developed by Compile. This vibrant puzzle game builds upon the successful formula of its predecessor, bringing more challenging chain reactions and strategic depth. New features include a beginner practice mode for newcomers and the advanced SU mode, which introduced refined rules popular with competitive players. The game features dynamic in-game animations and a collection of energetic songs. Set for release in October 1995 with an estimated price of 4,800 yen, Puyo Puyo Tsu 2 was a key release diversifying the Saturn's lineup, following the RPG focus of the previous page, and solidified the series' popularity on the console. The next page focuses on bringing the arcade experience home, declaring that arcade movement is now descending upon the Sega Saturn. The page highlights Sega's STV technology, which allows for direct ports of arcade games to the console. Featured prominently is the fighting game Golden Axe, The Duel, presented with screenshots and a large title logo, emphasizing its arcade origins and options. The page also showcases the competitive puzzle game Baku Baku Animal, noting its multiple play modes and fun gameplay. Finally, the fighting game Shinsetsu Suikoden, New Tales of the Water Margin, is presented as a perfect arcade translation. The page features vibrant artwork and screenshots from these titles, reinforcing the Saturn's capability to deliver diverse arcade genres, following the puzzle game featured on the previous page. A Sega Saturn console and Virtua Stick peripherals are also pictured. This page focuses on the upcoming Sega Saturn title, Sotsugu 2 Neo Generation. This is a simulation game where the player takes on the role of a new teacher tasked with guiding 5 problematic female students through their final year of high school to graduation. The page features vibrant artwork of the 5 main characters in their school uniforms, showcasing their distinct personalities. Screenshots display gameplay elements like the classroom screen. The article highlights improved visuals and animation compared to previous versions, along with added events and features for the Saturn release. A special campaign is announced where players can win limited edition portraits of the characters. The game is priced at 6,800 yen, excluding tax. It is also noted that a PlayStation version is scheduled for release on October 27th. This page features a two-page spread showcasing upcoming Sega Saturn titles. On the left is SimCity 2000, announced as an upgraded version of the popular city-building simulation game, challenging players to exceed an 80% approval rating as mayor. It's set for release on September 29th for 5,800 yen and is touted as the ultimate city simulator. The right side introduces two distinct games. First is World Advanced Daisen Ryaku Steel Wind, a historical simulation game based on World War II, where players command forces from Germany, the UK, or the US. This popular strategy series from PC and Mega Drive is making its debut on the Saturn and is scheduled for release on September 22nd for 7,800 yen. Below that is Wing Arms, a shooting game focused on realistic aerial combat during WW2, where players become an ace pilot aiming for world conquest. It's also releasing on September 29th for 5,800 yen. Finally, the Mission Stick peripheral is highlighted, noted as a simultaneous release with Wing Arms, offering enhanced enjoyment with its adjustable stick unit and rapid-fire function. This page showcases three exciting upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is The King of Boxing, a 3D polygon boxing simulation game. It boasts smooth animations and flexible camera angles, allowing players to experience the heat of boxing. You can aim for the championship in the main mode, or create your own fighter in the debut mode, watching them grow with each match. Features include round-by-round replays from any angle, and immersive sound that captures the ringside atmosphere. This title is set for release in late October for 5,800 yen. Next, we have Metal Fighter Miku, described as a beautiful girl pro-wrestling simulation battle game with a substantial 6-episode story. The game features visually impressive battles and a gripping narrative centered around a tournament to decide the #1 pro wrestler in Japan. It also highlights a related radio drama. Metal Fighter Miku is scheduled for release on September 29th, priced at 6,800 yen. Finally, the page features America Ujadan Ultra Quiz, a quiz game based on the popular Japanese TV show, where contestants traveled across America answering questions. This Saturn adaptation brings the experience home, with various modes like Challenge the Ultra Quiz, Battle Mode for up to 4 players, Training, and a data archive. It boasts approximately 10,000 questions, all featuring voice narration by the original show's host. Get ready to test your knowledge in late October for 5,800 yen. This page features a prominent spotlight on the innovative action game Comic Zone for the Sega Genesis. The game's main draw is its unique presentation, setting the action entirely within the panels of a comic book. Players control an artist protagonist who is sucked into his own creation, battling villains and navigating the world panel by panel, page by page. The description emphasizes the dynamic comic book visuals and gameplay elements, calling it a new type of action game. Comic Zone is highlighted as a new release priced at 7,800 yen. The page also showcases other Sega titles. The interactive adventure game Fahrenheit, known for its live-action video sequences, is presented, having already been released for 6,800 yen. 2 football, soccer games, J-League Pro Striker and Pro Striker Final Stage, are also featured, detailing their focus on simple gameplay and tactical depth respectively. Finally, there is information about Sega's hardware add-ons for the Genesis, the Super 32X, and the Mega CD, Sega CD, listing their prices and noting how they expand the console's capabilities. This page features a look at upcoming Sega Saturn and PlayStation titles. Prominently displayed is the RPG Magic Knight Ray Earth for the Sega Saturn, based on the popular anime and manga series. The artwork showcases the 3 main heroines, Hikaru, Umi, and Fu, along with other key characters and creatures from the vibrant fantasy world of Sephiroth. Screenshots give a glimpse of the game's visual style, confirming it's an RPG experience tied to the beloved franchise. Adjacent to this is an advertisement for Takaj King, The Spirits, a 3D racing game arriving on the Sega Saturn from Atlas. The focus here is on realistic mountain pass courses, highlighting the challenge of navigating winding roads at high speeds. Screenshots show the in-game graphics and car models, emphasizing the game's simulation aspects and competitive modes. Finally, the classic arcade vertical shooter Gunbird is announced for release on both the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation. This brings the popular Psikyo coin-op experience home, allowing players to enjoy its colorful characters and intense shooting action on their consoles. This page features a large spotlight on the upcoming Sega Saturn title, Steam Gear MASH. This is presented as a multi-genre action game, showcasing various gameplay styles through screenshots like using bombs, fire attacks, spinning maneuvers, escaping tactics, a wide-shot attack, and boss battles, all featuring the game's distinctive robot protagonist. The text highlights the game's unending horizontal shushipo action and its unique blend of genres. It announces a release planned for the end of September at a price of 5,800 yen. A small comic strip tells a brief origin story for the main character. The right side of the page contains the magazine's table of contents for the October 1995 issue of Saturn Fan, listing the various features and articles covered within. Below this is a game index providing a list of titles discussed in the magazine. There are also panels detailing general game specifications and contact information for inquiries. The next page kicks off an AM special feature dedicated to upcoming Sega Saturn ports of popular arcade titles. It highlights a strong lineup expected during the Saturn era, specifically naming Virtua Fighter 2, Sega Rally Championship, Golden Axe, The Duel, and Virtua Cop. The main focus is clearly on Virtua Fighter 2's development progress for the Saturn. The page offers a detailed look at how the port is evolving, showing comparisons between July and August builds, demonstrating improvements in graphics and character rendering. It proudly announces the debut of Cage and Wolf in the Saturn version previews, showcasing screenshots of them in action, performing signature moves like Cage's tricky techniques and Wolf's powerful throws, along with glimpses of their stages. The content conveys excitement about how closely the Saturn version is approaching the quality of the arcade original, noting enhancements in aspects like hit detection and character movement. There's also a look at character select screens and updates on character progression, plus a peek at alternate 2P colors for characters like Sarah and Jackie, suggesting more reveals are on the horizon. This page continues the deep dive into the Sega Saturn port of Virtua Fighter 2. Showcasing the impressive progress and attention to detail. The feature highlights the developer's confidence in achieving a perfect port, going so far as to reproduce even subtle movements like characters turning their heads to track their opponents, a seemingly minor detail but one that adds significant realism. New techniques are prominently featured for Sarah Bryant, including her soccer ball kick and turn-low spin kick, alongside Jeffrey McWild's powerful front backbreaker, hip attack, and iron claw, each demonstrated with multiple screenshots. Adding to the excitement, the page includes a showcase of character-winning poses, featuring celebratory stances from characters like Jackie, Pai, Shundai, Lion, Kadei, Lao, and Wolf after achieving victory. The article concludes with a teaser for the next issue, hinting at updates on the crucial implementation of hit detection for all moves, suggesting the Saturn port is rapidly approaching its final stages of development. This page shifts gears to highlight the impressive progress on the Sega Saturn port of Sega Rally Championship. The magazine expresses excitement about the fidelity achieved, stating that even fine details from the arcade version are being faithfully reproduced. The feature provides an in-depth look at the game's famous desert course, showcasing screenshots that capture the challenging terrain, dynamic jumps, and crucial checkpoints. It emphasizes the feeling of racing through a vast, undulating landscape. Furthermore, the article updates readers on the forest course, detailing enhancements like increased environmental detail, specifically more trees, and improved texture mapping, making the course feel even more authentic. The screenshots vividly demonstrate the visual improvements and the intense racing action across both environments. The overall tone conveys confidence in the Saturn version, delivering a high-quality arcade experience at home. This page dives into Golden Axe, The Duel, a one-on-one fighting game bringing the arcade experience to the Sega Saturn. It highlights this port as a perfect transfer of the first game utilizing Sega's STV arcade board. The article points out the game's characteristic system, noting the dynamic camera zoom that adjusts based on the distance between fighters, adding to the dramatic presentation. It also details the inclusion of thieves from the main Golden Axe series. Blue thieves drop magic jars for powerful attacks, while green ones drop meat or potions to restore health. Utilizing these elements strategically is key. Two game modes are available: A versus CPU mode, where players battle through opponents to reach the end, and a standard player versus player mode. The game features a roster of 10 unique warriors, each with their own special moves, shown with command inputs below their character art. Familiar faces like variations of Gilius and Death Adders join newcomers like Caneblade, Milan Flare, Soma, Jam, Doc, Panchos, Green, and Keel. The feature emphasizes the impressive graphics and presentation, stating that the Saturn version is a faithful recreation of the arcade original. This page provides an in-depth look at the highly anticipated Sega Saturn port of Virtua Cop, showcasing the progress and detailing its faithful recreation of the arcade experience. The article confirms the release date and highlights the excitement for bringing this popular polygon light gun shooter home. The feature emphasizes that famous scenes and settings from the arcade version have been transplanted accurately to the Saturn, with multiple screenshots demonstrating the detailed environments and enemy models. It notes that the development progress was around 70% at the time, but the newly released screenshots show the Saturn version is shaping up to rival the arcade original, particularly highlighting improvements in character and background textures, like the detail on wooden boxes and marble surfaces. Specific scenes are showcased, including a car crashing into drums and subsequent explosions, demonstrating the game's visual effects. The article also points out technical aspects, like aiming for high scores by shooting specific points, and confirms the inclusion of two-player simultaneous play. Crucially, it announces the decision to release the Sega Virtua Gun peripheral alongside the game, ensuring players can experience the arcade feel at home. The content reflects strong anticipation for the game's graphical fidelity and exciting gameplay on the Saturn. This page gives us an exciting look at the Sega Saturn simulation RPG, Dragon Force. The article focuses heavily on the game's impressive large-scale battle scenes, which can feature up to 200 units clashing on screen, emphasizing the sheer spectacle and strategic depth. It also introduces the 8 main characters that players can choose from, each offering a unique starting point and story path. These leaders include Wayne, Goldark, Leon, Mikazuchi, Reinhardt, Tealand, Juno, and Gongos. The screenshots showcase the pixel art detail of the armies and the diverse environments where these massive conflicts take place, highlighting the game's ambition to deliver grand, tactical warfare on the Saturn. The feature confirms the game is a simulation RPG, and notes development was around 70% complete at the time, building anticipation for its release. This page provides a more detailed look at the mechanics that make Dragon Force a standout strategy RPG. It emphasizes the sheer scale of the battles, featuring armies of up to 100 soldiers clashing per side, controlled via simple commands like advance and retreat, with strategic depth added by different unit types and commander abilities. The article also highlights the powerful special moves characters can unleash, crucial for turning the tide of battle with their impressive visual effects and increasing power as characters grow. The world map navigation is revealed to be in real time, meaning players must constantly make strategic decisions as time passes and events unfold across the continent. Conquering enemy castles is presented as vital for expanding your domain and maintaining your army, offering opportunities to recover troops and even recruit captured enemy generals. Beyond the battlefield, the game stresses the importance of managing internal affairs within your castles, covering essential tasks like saving your game and overseeing military and administrative matters. The page also gives a glimpse into the compelling story of Wayne, the leader of Highland, and his quest to face the dark god Madruk, setting the stage for a continent-spanning conflict. This page introduces Guardian Heroes, Treasure's ambitious new challenge combining fighting action with RPG elements. The article highlights Treasure's renowned technical skill, which is evident in the game's unique mechanics. The core gameplay features a dynamic 3-line battle system, smooth scaling and zooming effects, and a wide variety of flashy special moves used to take down large numbers of enemies. The game also boasts a multi-branching story and supports simultaneous play for up to 6 people, a remarkable feat. The page details the main characters players will control: Horn, the protagonist focused on powerful attacks and fire magic; Serena, a former knight skilled in continuous attacks and ice magic; Randy, a mage with a mix of magic and hand-to-hand combat; Nicole, a naturally clumsy helper relying on faith and defensive magic; and Jinjiru, a wandering samurai providing support with martial arts. The article also features the Undead Hero, a powerful ally with high attack power, noting that some characters, including the Undead Hero, are restricted primarily to the Versus mode. The game emphasizes both the exciting battles and the strategic depth added by RPG progression and story choices. This page delves deeper into Guardian Heroes, focusing on its unique branching story and character progression systems. The game features a multi-scenario approach, where decisions made by the player lead down different paths, impacting the narrative and offering significant replayability. The page explains how characters can be developed using bonus points earned after clearing stages. These points allow players to customize their fighters' stats, tailoring them to their preferred playstyle. It highlights the first major story divergence after the initial event at the graveyard. Players face a choice, leading them to different locations like a factory town, a resistance village, or deep into a forest. Each path presents unique challenges and alters the storyline. Additionally, the page introduces some of the rivals players will encounter. Reinhardt von Astrea, a powerful knight. Zur Bayer, a greedy manipulator. Machogoro, a strong mercenary. Canon G. Gray, a dark wizard. And Lucia von Astrea, Reinhardt's sister. The article also previews later branching points in the narrative, showing paths leading down mountainsides, through a city towards a castle, across bridges, and up mountains towards a castle peak, emphasizing the continued complexity and branching nature of the game's story. This page announces Dark Savior, a new action RPG for the Sega Saturn from Climax, creators known for their detailed visuals. The game stands out with its focus on a truly 3D environment and incorporates three key innovative systems. First is the Hyperion perspective, a unique visual system that builds a complete 3D world using X, Y, and Z axes, allowing for exploration with a sense of depth and verticality previously unseen. Second is the Parallel Scenario system, which creates a branching narrative based on player actions, leading to numerous different story paths and over 100 potential endings, blending action and plot seamlessly. Finally, the Bounty Capture system allows the protagonist to capture defeated monsters under specific conditions and then use their unique abilities in battle, adding a strategic layer to combat and building a monster collection. The page introduces key characters, including the protagonist Rue Hayworth, a skilled bounty hunter, and Sylvia Kyuhei, a mysterious ninja. It also hints at a transforming parasitic villain. Development staff share their excitement about creating a full 3D world, the complex branching story, and the game's music. This page previews Battle Arena to Shinden Yura for the Sega Saturn, the sequel to the polygon-based fighting game. It showcases several screenshots depicting fast-paced 3D combat and flashy special moves like the Void Slash and Queen Sophia's Punishment. The core of the page is dedicated to introducing the game's cast with character profiles. It features key fighters such as the protagonist Eiji Shinjo, the vengeful Scottish swordsman Kaina Mo, former KGB agent Sophia, the mysterious girl Ellis, the giant hermit Rungo, the rival Duke B. Rambert, the hidden tribe fighter Mondo, the ancient master 4FAI, and the previous champion Shu. The final boss from the first game, Gaia, is also profiled, hinting at his return. A major highlight is the reveal of Cupido, an exclusive original character created specifically for the Sega Saturn version. Details are provided about his connection to Gaia and his unique weapon. The article notes that the game is currently around 20% complete, suggesting the graphics are still evolving and more content is yet to be added, promising an exciting evolution for fans of the series. Developed by Takara and published by Sega, the Saturn version also plans to include a distinct trial mode. This page dives into the upcoming Sega Saturn RPG, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, providing a wealth of new information straight from the developers. It features interviews with key Atlas figures, director Koji Okada, and character designer Kazuma Kaneko, the golden development duo behind the series. The game is revealed to be set in a city based on real-world locations, with a full map shown. Development is progressing smoothly and is currently at 60%. Screenshots showcase various intriguing locations players will visit, including shops like weapon and armor stores, an antique shop, a mysterious underground clinic, the protagonist's detective agency, and even a fortune teller who seems to provide quests. The page also unveils some of the unique and often unsettling demon designs players will encounter, highlighting creatures like Macabre, Angura, Waxwork, and Dodomeki. Additionally, this issue kicks off a historical look back at the Shin Megami Tensei series, starting with the original digital Devil story, Megami Tensei and its sequel on the Famicom, and the first Shin Megami Tensei on the Super Famicom, showing screenshots from these classic titles and briefly discussing their impact. This feature helps set the stage for Devil Summoners within the broader context of the beloved franchise. This page explores Princess Maker 2 on the Sega Saturn, a life simulation game where you guide a young girl from age 10 to 18, with her eventual fate determined by your choices. The core gameplay revolves around meticulously scheduling her daily activities, balancing education, work, and rest. The page provides a detailed look at the scheduling system and the various parameters that define your daughter's growth. Managing stress is highlighted as a critical challenge, with love being presented as the ultimate stress reliever. Screenshots showcase the different menus for scheduling, viewing stats, engaging in education and work, and taking vacations. Special events like the Harvest Festival and trips, such as visiting the mountains or the sea, are shown to have significant effects on her parameters and stress levels. The article also mentions the influence of her guardian star, determined by her birthday, on her initial abilities. It's a comprehensive look at the mechanics involved in raising your virtual daughter towards her destiny. This page is a detailed look at the upcoming fighting game, Dragon Ball Z, Shin Butoden, for the Sega Saturn. The headline, "It's okay if you die, you'll be revived," immediately sets the classic Dragon Ball tone. The article focuses on showcasing the latest screenshots and highlights features unique to the Saturn version. It boasts the largest character roster in the series so far, exceeding previous Super Famicom and Mega Drive installments, and hints at original characters. A major selling point is the visual shock of the special moves, with enhanced demo presentations, leveraging the Saturn's power to look more like the TV anime. The game promises abundant modes, including familiar ones like the World Martial Arts Tournament and Versus mode, plus new Saturn-exclusive additions. The dual-screen system, which splits the screen when characters separate, returns, complemented by improved background processing for dynamic battles in wide spaces. Screenshots display various characters like Goku, including Super Saiyan 3, Gohan, Gotenks, and Great Saiyaman, performing signature moves such as Kamehameha, Tail Attack, and Ki Blasts. The magazine expresses excitement about the game's evolution on the Saturn platform, promising a fierce battle experience for Z fighters. This page previews the simulation game Marriage, a new title from Headroom, the developers behind the popular Graduation series. The headline emphasizes its connection to graduation, calling it an anticipated new release. Marriage for the Sega Saturn is a simulation game where the goal is, you guessed it, marriage. Players create a character and live through various life stages, aiming to meet, date, propose to, and eventually marry one of the potential partners. A unique feature is that the game allows players to pursue either male or female characters from the Graduation universe. The page includes an interview with the producer, Mr. Kubota, who discusses the game's concept, targeting a slightly older audience than Graduation, and the development process. He highlights the game's high-quality single-picture graphics and mentions that the simulation system is largely complete, with the scenario writing underway. Profiles are shown for 10 potential partners, featuring 5 female and 5 male characters who fans will recognize from the Graduation series. Screenshots scattered throughout the page offer glimpses of character interactions and key scenes from the game. This page features a large pre-release special on World Advanced Daizenryaku for the Sega Saturn. The headline proclaims the start of a global battle and the game as the Iron Battle Wind. It highlights the game's evolution and key points leading up to its release. The article focuses on the significant graphical enhancements, stating the visuals are greatly strengthened and everything is realistically rendered. It also discusses how unit status changes are visually represented and that the CPU's thinking speed has been dramatically improved. The campaign mode is detailed, involving multiple nations like the UK, France, and the USSR, suggesting complex scenarios where different countries are intertwined. Screenshots showcase the tactical map view with hex grids and units, detailed 3D battle scenes, and interfaces showing unit information and national power distribution. An interview with a Sega developer provides insight into the game's development status and offers strategic advice, including specific tactics for different nations and unit types, emphasizing the importance of variable units like transportable infantry. The developer expresses confidence that the game is the masterpiece of the series. The overall tone is one of anticipation for the game's release. The next page continues the deep dive into World Advanced Daizenryaku's campaign mode, focusing heavily on the German perspective and strategic options. It emphasizes the sheer volume of content packed into the campaigns for the 3 playable nations. The article highlights that each nation's campaign is shaped by unique historical circumstances, reflected in the map size and initial unit deployments. It details how victory conditions aren't static but vary per map, sometimes requiring the destruction of specific enemy HQs, directly tying objectives to historical events. A significant portion is dedicated to the German Third Reich campaign, detailing the path from the quick fall of Paris and Belgium to the challenging push towards the Eastern Front. It even presents a scenario split chart, showing the strategic choices available, like the critical decision involving Operation Celian against Britain. Though historically unsuccessful, it's presented as a game possibility. The importance of unit training is also introduced as a parameter crucial for battlefield effectiveness. Screenshots showcase key moments in units, including the German invasion route into France, images of French fortifications like the Maginot Line, and specific units like British Churchill tanks. It really gives a sense of the historical scope and strategic depth the game aims for. This page details the campaigns for the Japanese Empire and the United States in World Advanced Daisenryaku, offering a look at how each nation's historical path and military strengths are represented in the game. The Japanese campaign surprisingly begins with the Nomonhan incident conflict against the Soviet Union before launching into the Pacific War with the attack on Pearl Harbor. It highlights the need for players to compensate for relatively weak ground units with strong air and naval forces, emphasizing carrier operations and strategic bombing. Early scenarios like Nomonhan and later ones like the Battle of the Coral Sea are discussed, showcasing specific units like the Zero Fighter and various bombers. For the United States, the focus is firmly on the counteroffensive in the Pacific after the initial blow at Pearl Harbor. The campaign relies heavily on powerful carrier task forces and abundant, high-performance aircraft like the B-29 bomber and Bearcat fighter to conduct island-hopping operations. The strategic importance of battles like the Coral Sea is also covered from the American perspective, featuring units like the aircraft carrier Lexington. Both nations' campaign paths branch based on player success, offering alternate historical outcomes. Screenshots display various units and map locations from the Pacific Theater. This page dives into the Japanese release of SimCity 2000 for the Sega Saturn, highlighting features unique to this version. The article emphasizes that this isn't just a simple port, but includes significant version upgrades compared to earlier international releases. A major point of interest is the inclusion of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega's iconic character appears as a bonus statue awarded to players who reach a population milestone of 300,000 residents. The article even features a CG rendering of Sonic built into the cityscape. The Saturn version also boasts a substantial increase in scenarios and starting maps. The number of scenarios has been expanded significantly, and it includes unique maps not found elsewhere, such as one shaped like the Sega logo. Various starting cities with different geographical layouts and economic conditions are available for players to tackle. The in-game newspaper, a staple of SimCity, has been fully translated into Japanese, allowing players to fully immerse themselves in their city's events and public opinion. Overall, the feature presents the Saturn release as a robust and enhanced version of the classic city-building simulation. This page serves as a comprehensive guide for aspiring mayors playing SimCity 2000 on the Sega Saturn. It breaks down the essential knowledge needed to build a successful city, starting with understanding the game interface and controls. You'll learn about the various meters, command icons, and how to navigate the map and menus using the Saturn controller. The guide also explains the 4 different game speed settings, crucial for managing your city's growth effectively. The main focus is a step-by-step approach to city building, starting with the absolute basics. It details the critical first steps: establishing a power source, laying down roads efficiently to avoid traffic congestion, and zoning areas for residential, commercial, and industrial development. It even touches on the concept of zone density, a key factor in how your city grows. Finally, the page gives us a glimpse into the diverse set of 17 scenarios available in the Saturn version. These aren't just standard city starts. They are challenging situations, like recovering from disasters or meeting specific population goals, offering unique tests of your mayoral skills right out of the gate. It's clear this page aims to get players up to speed quickly on the fundamentals of managing their virtual metropolis. This page continues the essential guide to building a thriving metropolis in SimCity 2000. The walkthrough progresses through crucial steps like establishing vital facilities such as police and fire stations, schools, and hospitals, emphasizing their importance for citizen satisfaction and safety. It also covers the necessity of dealing with urban decay and introducing leisure facilities to boost morale. The guide then moves into refining your city, reviewing its overall health, planning for expansion, and managing essential underground infrastructure like water pipes and subways. Finally, it encourages players to keep striving for growth and improvement. The page concludes with a look at several challenging scenarios available, including rebuilding cities after disasters like fires, floods, or economic collapse, or meeting specific population goals, offering unique tests of your mayoral skills beyond standard gameplay. This page offers a comprehensive emergency response manual for SimCity 2000, guiding mayors through handling various disasters like earthquakes, fires, monsters, and floods. Screenshots illustrate the effects and suggested actions for each event, emphasizing swift deployment of emergency services like police and fire departments. The page also dives into Ranking Street, presenting sales charts for Sega Saturn, Mega Drive/Mega CD, and 32X, based on data from July 1st to 31st. Popular titles like Riglord Saga and Virtua Fighter Remix lead the Saturn chart, while games like Lethal Enforcers 2 and Paladin's Quest feature in the Mega CD and 32X rankings, respectively. This section provides a snapshot of the gaming landscape through both sales figures and reader contributions, covering game rankings, reader opinions, and questionnaire results. A small section discusses the rewards of clearing scenarios in SimCity 2000, while another covers reader mail for the Empire of Saturn section. This page presents the Ranking Street section focusing on Sega Saturn games, showcasing a performance table based on aggregate reader scores. Topping the charts is Virtua Fighter Remix, praised for its significantly improved graphics and character models over the original Saturn release. However, some spicy murmurs mention lingering texture issues and a feeling that it didn't push the arcade experience far enough. Coming in at number 2 is Table of 2D, a title lauded for its unique visual presentation, atmospheric sound design, and compelling narrative, capturing many players' attention with its distinctive horror style. Criticisms include limited gameplay interaction and the technical drawback of frequent disc swaps. The page also features a general spicy murmurs section, where readers share diverse opinions on various other games and gaming experiences, reflecting the passionate commentary from the Saturn community. Overall, this provides a snapshot of player reception for recent Saturn releases, highlighting both celebrated improvements and areas for critique. This page continues the reader-voted ranking street for Sega Saturn titles. Securing the third position is Clockwork Knight 2, praised for its stunning visuals and refined action compared to the original, with many highlighting the excellent character design. However, some players noted balance issues in the difficulty curve as a spicy murmur. Coming in at number 4 is Yumimi Mix Remix, a title that resonated strongly with fans of the original Mega CD game. Celebrated for its charming characters and narrative, though acknowledged as appealing to a specific audience, readers appreciated the nostalgic pull and the smooth animation in this remake. The 5th spot is occupied by Riglord Saga, a simulation RPG. Players found its user interface intuitive and enjoyed the strategic elements presented, particularly the clear presentation of hints and item details. Critiques, found in the spicy murmurs, pointed towards the simulation feeling somewhat simple and lacking depth or variety in unit movement. Additionally, sections labeled Technique and Whole offer general commentary. Technique touches on the smoothness of character actions and the refinement of techniques in games, while Whole discusses aspects of Saturn development, including the shift to 3D and challenges with balancing mechanics in some early RPGs on the system. This page continues the Ranking Street section, showcasing reader feedback on various Sega Saturn titles. Coming in at number 6 is Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu 95 Kaima Kuban, the Power Pros 95 Opening Edition. Players appreciated its focus on realistic baseball data and strategic depth, praising the intuitive interface, although some felt the Saturn version wasn't quite as polished as other iterations. Below the main ranking, the page features sections for general reader comments, Sweet Murmur for positive feedback, and Spicy Murmur for criticisms. Readers shared thoughts on a range of games, including more comments on Riglord Saga, ranked number 5 on the previous page, with mixed opinions on its simulation depth versus story. Other comments touched upon early Saturn RPGs, with discussions focusing on graphics quality, repetitive gameplay loops, difficulty balance, and the impact of polygon graphics. The overall sentiment reflects the varied experiences players were having with the early Saturn library, appreciating unique concepts and data-driven games like Power Pros, while sometimes finding execution or depth lacking in others. The image shows a screenshot for the Power Pros game at the top right of its section. This page continues the Ranking Street section, showing reader feedback on several Sega Saturn titles. Coming in at number 7 is Gaku no Kaidan, a horror adventure based on a movie. Players found it basic, the story and gameplay short, and the visuals static. Number 8 is the Yakyu Ken Special, a stripped-down game featuring female characters in a baseball theme, which many found frustrating and lacking in substance. Virtual Volleyball takes the 9th spot. Its controls and player actions were appreciated, but the lack of excitement and difficulty in pulling off attacks were significant drawbacks. At number 10 is Neketsu Oyako, a beat-em-up from Technosoft. Readers expressed disappointment, feeling the game didn't live up to the developer's reputation, with bland visuals and action. 11th place goes to Mahjong Kaigan Monogatari, a mahjong title featuring idols. Feedback suggests inconsistent difficulty and underwhelming idol content, feeling more like a fan service piece than a solid mahjong game. Finally, Race Drive-In ranks 12th. Players noted its dated polygon graphics and simple controls, finding it primitive compared to other racing options. The additional entries below mirror the rankings for Mahjong Kaigen Monogatari and Race Drive-In, providing further comments that echo the sentiment of the main entries. This page compiles reader reviews, rankings, and requests related to Sega Genesis, Mega CD, and Sega Saturn games. The Ranking Street section highlights top titles, including Parasquad, Super 32X, with mixed reviews, and Chokyukai Miracle 9, Mega CD, praised for its baseball simulation. The popularity ranking favors Virtua Fighter 2, with rising popularity across several titles. Readers can submit reviews for prizes. Voices of Expectation previews anticipated releases, while the Saturn port request ranking reveals a strong desire for ports, with Tekken leading the list. The page also includes direct requests to manufacturers and future review targets like Magic Knight Ray Earth. This page is the Conehead Club, dedicated to showcasing reader feedback, illustrations, and questions. You'll see some great fan art here, including depictions of Pei-chan and Sarah Bryant from the hit 3D fighter, Virtua Fighter. Readers are sending in their thoughts on everything from the magazine itself, like the potentially awkward term Saturner, to observations on the gaming scene. A recurring theme is the challenge of Virtua Fighter, with one reader lamenting being consistently beaten by younger players, and another admitting their 7-year-old daughter is the reigning champ at home after playing Virtua Fighter Remix. There's a strong desire from readers for more content, with requests for pages dedicated to highlighting classic Mega Drive titles, exploring the history of the Mega Drive, and even delving into more obscure or minor games. Some are also keen on anime-related content and discuss the potential for Saturn ports of popular Mega CD games like Lunar and Yumi Mix. It's clear the community is passionate and eager to see the magazine evolve alongside the hardware transition. The magazine's release schedule and price are also mentioned. This page continues with the reader feedback section, featuring more fan letters and illustrations. Players are discussing their hopes and thoughts on game ports coming to the Sega Saturn, mentioning titles like the fighting game Giant Tekken, arcade hits like Street Fighter Alpha, the dark fantasy fighter Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, and even RPGs like the Lunar series, and adventure games like Snatcher. The fan art includes great depictions of characters from Street Fighter Alpha and Night Warriors. Adjacent to the reader input is a significant reader present section, offering a chance to win various items. These gifts include exclusive merchandise like a Capcom Summer Festival 95 t-shirt, posters for the international version of Panzer Dragoon and Metal Fighter Miku, items related to popular anime like Tenchi Muyo, Bilki, and Mysterious World El Hazard, a drama CD for Lunar, Eternal Blue, and autographed art. The magazine also announces a photo CD contest in collaboration with 3Do Magazine. This contest encourages readers to submit their photography on photo CD, highlighting the multimedia capabilities of both platforms. Impressively, the prizes for this contest include hardware such as a Sega Saturn console bundled with a photo CD player, and a Panasonic R.E.AL3 Do console with a photo CD adapter, showcasing the magazine's interest in promoting multimedia convergence. This page kicks off with the latest third-party visit feature, this time spotlighting Shueisha Company, Limited. Known primarily for publishing computer-related books, they are now making their foray into game development for the Sega Saturn. The interview touches upon their shift into the gaming industry, leveraging their publishing experience and technical knowledge. Shueisha details their initial Saturn projects. The first is Breakthrough, described as a port of a foreign PC adventure/puzzle game, where players must color the entire screen by pushing blocks. Their second project is Zork, a classic text adventure being ported with enhanced graphics, promising a different experience while maintaining the core narrative-driven gameplay. They discuss utilizing their resources and know-how to enter this new market. Dominating the right side of the page is a dramatic vertical headline, declaring a raging wave of 3 consecutive shots. This highlights 3 major upcoming titles. The first is Magic Knight Ray-Earth, an action RPG based on the popular anime, featuring vibrant visuals. Below that is Shining Wisdom, the next entry in the beloved Shining series, appearing to be a top-down action-adventure, or RPG. Finally, Layer Section, known internationally as Galactic Attack, a thrilling vertical scrolling shooter, is showcased with its intense mecha combat. Page references are provided for deeper dives into each of these anticipated games. This page features the first strategy special for Magic Knight Ray-Earth. It provides a comprehensive guide covering the early stages of the game, starting from Tokyo Tower and leading up to encountering the Rune God series. The guide includes a flowchart detailing key events and locations, such as the initial summoning to Sephiroth, meeting Clef and gaining magic, encountering Alcyone, visiting Precia's house to get weapons made from Escudo, exploring the Silent Forest, meeting Furio, finding the Eternal Spring, and navigating various dungeons and villages like Palaizi and Tafaron, where you meet characters like Lantis, Caldina, and Ascot. Detailed sections walk through the first few steps, showing how the 3 ordinary girls, Lucy, Marina, and Anemone, are summoned to Sephiroth, become the legendary Magic Knights, receive their powers from Clef, and begin their quest to rescue Princess Emerald and awaken the Rune Gods. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, including exploration, character interactions, and battles against foes like Alcyone. The guide emphasizes following the story's flow, tackling dungeon challenges, and preparing for boss fights to progress through the game's initial chapters. The next page continues the strategy guide for Magic Knight Ray-Earth, picking up after finding the Eternal Spring. It details the boss encounters there, featuring Marina against Vigor and Anemone against Kless, offering tactical advice for each fight like watching for Vigor's waves and Kless's ranged attacks. After successfully defeating them and obtaining the legendary material Escudo, the guide explains how returning to Pre-C results in upgraded weapons for the Magic Knights, making them significantly more powerful against future foes. The guide then moves on to Pelagini's village, highlighting the barrier blocking progress to a cave. It advises gathering information from the villagers and interacting with Ascot, the young summoner, to resolve the situation and gain access to the next dungeon. Finally, the page covers the challenging Cave of Trials. It describes navigating treacherous paths filled with traps like giant rolling boulders, tricky moving platforms, and disappearing floors. The guide culminates with the boss fight against Lucino, Ascot's father, providing tips on how to handle his powerful attacks and movements to progress further into Sephiroth. Following the defeat of crab enemies, the heroes explore Palai's village, gathering information about the demon god, and encountering the troublesome Jasminer. They then navigate the Ice Mountain dungeon, using the water surge technique to overcome obstacles and solve puzzles involving switches, arrows, and ice blocks. At the dragon's sleeping room, the demon god recognizes Lucy's potential, but triggers a battle against Jasminer. After victory, and back in Palai's village, the demon god Cirrus appears, acknowledging Lucy as a true magic knight, and joins the party. The heroes then decide to continue their quest to awaken the remaining demon gods. Finally, the guide mentions the Rainbow Guy's Mansion, accessible after acquiring swimming abilities, suggesting a unique shop or exploration area. This page continues the guide for Shining Wisdom, promising a complete walkthrough up to the final dungeon. It mentions challenging puzzles and techniques needed to overcome obstacles, noting that dungeon maps are included but intentionally omit treasure chest locations and specific tricks to encourage player discovery. There's a section on aiming for 100% item acquisition, described as a percentage displayed after clearing the game. The text suggests this is incredibly difficult to achieve, even impossible according to a developer, but encourages players to explore thoroughly everywhere, including hidden areas and secret dungeons. The guide emphasizes mastering magic, particularly the 4 core orbs, as essential for efficient play and clearing dungeon puzzles. It showcases various items and orb magic, describing their effects, such as the freeze orb freezing enemies and water, the blaze orb attacking with fire, and different shoes providing movement advantages or hindering it. A map of the Odigan area is provided, marking key locations like the protagonist's home, Odigan Castle, and various dungeons including the Sand Passage dungeon. The guide also offers various tips, such as using specific rest spots to recover health and mana, the importance of money for powerful items, finding shops in unexpected places, and hints about hidden items or mechanics within the game world. The Sand Passage dungeon is shown with its layout, This page continues the comprehensive guide for Shining Wisdom, detailing the path forward after defeating Banbo in the Water Labyrinth. The walkthrough advises players to return to town for information before tackling the next challenge, which requires traversing the Jumping Labyrinth, likely the Thousand-Year Tree Dungeon. This section highlights the crucial role of the Freeze Orb and items like the Heavy Shoes and Mole Hand in navigating intricate puzzles, crossing frozen water, and clearing paths. The guide then moves to the Fire Labyrinth, explaining how the jump shoes are essential for bypassing obstacles. It warns of dungeon hazards and emphasizes strategic movement. A detailed strategy for the Fire Labyrinth boss, Guido, is provided, focusing on using the Freeze Orb to freeze his volcanic bomb attacks, and then throwing them back at him to inflict damage. Defeating Guido rewards the player with the Blaze Orb. The guide reveals the significance of this new ability, demonstrating how it can now be used to destroy previously unbreakable ice blocks, unlocking new areas, and allowing players to acquire key items like the Message Mirror, crucial for further advancement. Detailed maps for both the water and fire labyrinths are included to assist players in their journey. This page continues the comprehensive guide for Shining Wisdom, detailing progression after the Fire Labyrinth. The journey leads to the Mirror Labyrinth, accessible after using the Message Mirror on the Hobbit Village Spring to freeze it. The Mirror Labyrinth presents a unique challenge, split into real and mirror sides. Players must navigate between these dimensions using the Message Mirror. Destroying walls on one side affects the other, creating obstacles or opening paths, requiring strategic movement and puzzle solving. Screenshots illustrate the distinct appearance and interactions between the two sides. Next is a showdown with Curly. This boss attacks by swinging his sword and throwing solid swords that can be damaged after evasion. Defeating him frees the imprisoned hobbits. With information gathered, and likely the Pegasus helm acquired, which grants temporary flight, the guide moves to the Wind Labyrinth. This dungeon is characterized by complex maze-like structures spanning multiple floors, as shown in the multi-level map. The Wind Labyrinth culminates in a fight against Noog, a flying boss. He is invulnerable to ground attacks, demanding airborne assaults. The guide recommends using the Spark Orb to defeat him. Screenshots depict the aerial battle. This page guides us through the later stages of Shining Wisdom. After collecting the 4 orbs, you'll venture to Twin Rocks, the entry point to the Labyrinth of Light, where the legendary Shining Sword awaits. This maze is notorious for its challenging layout, incorporating tricky elements like belt conveyors and strategically placed pits, demanding precise movement to navigate successfully. The journey then leads back to Odegon Castle. Upon reporting to the king, a hidden passage is revealed in the throne room, providing access to the final, ultimate dungeon. This isn't just a maze. It's a test of everything you've learned, filled with powerful enemies and intricate traps that require mastery of all your techniques to overcome. Before facing the final boss, you must defeat the 4 elemental Jinn. The fire and wind Jinn are found within complex, challenging labyrinths, while the earth and water Jinn are in other specific areas. The wind Jinn's dungeon, in particular, focuses heavily on action and timing rather than traditional puzzles, making frequent use of items like jump shoes and slip shoes to cross gaps and navigate windy sections. After subduing the Jinn, the path opens to the underground lake, where Basalt, the final antagonist, awaits. His battle involves distinct patterns you'll need to recognize and exploit. Defeating him leads to the game's climax. The page also teases an easy dungeon reveal in the next issue. This page features a beginner's manual and strategy guide for Galactic Attack, known as Layer Section or Operation Rayforce, specifically focusing on helping new players get through the initial stages up to Area 6. It explains the core combat system, which includes standard shooting and the unique lock-on laser, emphasizing the lock-on's effectiveness against ground targets and its tactical depth. The guide details how power-up items collected from defeated enemies upgrade both the main shot and the number of lock-on lasers, enabling up to 8 locks for maximum effect. Scoring high is tied directly to locking onto multiple enemies simultaneously, with significant bonuses for hitting 8 targets at once. Tips are provided on using the lock-on laser strategically. The guide also strongly recommends using a rapid-fire controller to improve performance and ease of play. The page is illustrated with screenshots showing gameplay, power-ups, and examples of locking onto targets. This page continues the beginner's manual for Galactic Attack, detailing strategy for the first two areas. Area 1 is presented as a practice stage, emphasizing perfecting the lock-on technique against various enemy types, like grounded rocks, turrets, and moving targets to build score multipliers, especially aiming for the 500,000-point goal before the boss. The guide breaks down specific enemy waves leading up to the boss, highlighting key lock-on sequences for maximum points. The Area 1 boss, Dual Lance, is described as relatively easy, suggesting players focus lock-ons on its vulnerable core once its armor is destroyed. Area 2, the Gravity of Blue side, focuses on dense aircraft formations and floating turrets, stressing the importance of quick lock-ons as enemies scroll out. Scoring 1,000,000 points before the boss here is a goal, achieved by mastering lock-ons on specific enemy groups worth 12,800 points each. The section also covers the battleship area and the high-speed battleship mini-boss, advising on target priority before locking onto the main body. The Area 2 boss, Giransor, is presented as a more engaging fight, requiring players to destroy parts and dodge varied attacks while dealing with spawned enemies. The overall tone suggests that mastering the lock-on system is key to success and high scores in these early stages. This page continues the Beginner's Guide for Galactic Attack, covering strategies for Area 3, the Phantasm of Silver, and Area 4, the Fissure of Consciousness. For Area 3, the focus is on perfecting lock-on patterns for high scores. The guide details how to handle dense turret areas, including taking out tanks first, and then locking onto specific enemy groups for maximum points, like 64,000. It also covers the aerial turret section, explaining how to lock onto formations, and eventually a battleship for big points. Area 4 is highlighted as having many opportunities for high scores, stressing the critical use of the 8-lock strategy throughout. It breaks down approaches for initial enemies, tank and turret zones to gain 25,600 points, and the final tower sequence, explaining how to lock onto the core and surrounding enemies effectively. Finally, the guide provides specific tactics for the Area 2 boss, GAPMS2. It instructs players to target green parts and then the core, warning about its homing lasers and missile attacks. It describes dodging the distinctive figure 8 laser pattern and destroying the arms and side turrets before finishing off the core. Mastering these lock-on sequences is key to clearing these stages and racking up significant points. This page continues the Galactic Attack Strategy Guide for Beginners, focusing on Areas 5 and 6, known as Toward the Darkness and The End of Deep Layer, respectively, and their bosses. Area 5 offers high scoring potential, but demands precise lock-on usage. The guide details tackling initial enemy formations, the spread Zako section focusing on aerial enemies, and the challenging highway area with tanks and various enemy waves, emphasizing maximizing locks for points like 38,400. It also covers the boss rush segment with continuous enemy waves. The Area 5 boss, Odin, requires dodging its laser attacks and homing missiles while targeting its core and shoulder cannons. Area 6 is noted as the final layer and significantly tougher. Strategies are provided for sections like the ascending Zako area and the floating warship area, with its resilient mid-boss, Phalanx, where skillful lock-on usage is key for high scores. The final boss of Area 6 is Dynamo, a multi-part boss requiring careful dodging of its blue orbs and lasers while focusing fire on its different sections. The guide emphasizes the need for adaptability and careful movement in these final challenging stages. This page is dedicated to updates on Sega's popular Virtua series of games, specifically focusing on Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Cop 2, and Virtua Striker. It highlights the emergence of a new version, Virtua Fighter 2.1, detailing various subtle gameplay adjustments and character balance changes that dedicated players will notice, such as tweaks to specific characters like Shun and Lao, along with general movement and recovery modifications. Screenshots illustrate these changes across different fights. The page also unveils new stages coming to Virtua Cop 2, showcasing environments like a luxury passenger ship and a city area, promising more intense action. It touches upon the in-game advertisements that appear during stage transitions, and provides character design material for Janet, one of the player characters. Screenshots depict scenes from the game, including police officers in action. Finally, the page reveals a hidden technique in Virtua Striker, allowing players to unlock and use the special FC Sega team, providing a fun, exclusive option for expert players. Screenshots show the team select screen and gameplay featuring the team. This page delivers exciting news for fans. prominently announcing the anime adaptation of Virtua Fighter. It kicks off with vibrant character art featuring the main cast from Virtua Fighter 1 and Virtua Fighter 2, including Akira, Pai, Lao, Wolf, Jeffrey, Cage, Sarah, Jackie, Lion, and Shun. The main story of the anime is highlighted, focusing on Akira's journey to Master Baji Quan and his interactions with the diverse cast of fighters he encounters along the way, such as Shun Dai and Lion Rafale. The production staff behind the series are also credited, featuring names involved in other notable anime titles. The broadcast details are clearly laid out. The anime was set to premiere on October 9th on TV Tokyo. Beyond the anime news, the page briefly touches upon other virtual happenings. There's a report on a competitive gaming event featuring Virtua Fighter 2 and Virtua Striker, a feature on the release of Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series, a look at Virtua Fighter character garage kits, and a section showcasing a monthly poster. It's clear there was a lot of multimedia excitement surrounding the series at the time. This page introduces a thrilling new fighting game from Capcom, Marvel Superheroes. This highly anticipated title brings together a roster of popular characters from Marvel Comics for an epic showdown, building upon the foundation of previous Capcom fighting games. The game features 10 playable Marvel heroes, including iconic characters like Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Wolverine, and Spider-Man, alongside powerful villains such as Magneto, Juggernaut, Blackheart, and Shumagorath. The page highlights that the gameplay aims to go beyond typical comic book battles, allowing players to control these heroes and utilize their unique powers in creative ways. A key focus is on the game's distinct mechanics. Each character possesses individual special moves, but the game also introduces the Infinity Special and Gem ability systems. These are tied to an on-screen power gauge and allow characters to unleash devastating super moves or gain temporary power-ups by collecting Infinity Gems found during battle. The article notes the gems grant different boosts to stats like power, speed, or defense, adding a strategic layer to the fighting. Screenshots showcase intense battles between the heroes and villains, highlighting dynamic special attacks and the visual flair of the game. The page conveys a sense of excitement for this crossover fighting game, promising a unique experience that combines the depth of Capcom's fighting mechanics with the beloved universe of Marvel Comics. This page shifts focus to upcoming titles, starting with Street Fighter Alpha, detailing hidden commands, and a unique co-op mode where two players, Ryu and Ken, team up against M. Bison, taking direct inspiration from the animated movie. The article highlights the shared life gauge and super meter in this mode, emphasizing teamwork is key. Screenshots show Ryu and Ken battling M. Bison in intense moments. Next up is Funky Head Boxers, a title with a bizarre premise where polygonal boxer heads deform grotesquely as they take damage. The article notes this unusual visual style and humor, mentioning the referee is voiced by John Robinson. Screenshots capture the strange character models and their exaggerated expressions. The page also previews 19XX, The War Against Destiny, a new entry in the classic shoot-'em-up series. It introduces new selectable aircraft and features the innovative marker missile weapon system, allowing players to lock onto targets for concentrated attacks. Screenshots display aerial combat and massive boss encounters. Finally, Sega Manx TT is featured, developed by AM3. Described as a realistic motorcycle racing game based on the legendary Isle of Man TT race, it promises high-speed action and detailed graphics. The article includes screenshots of the game in action and a CG render of a player bike. This article reviews Game Gear titles and reports on the Capcom Summer Festival '95. Game Gear reviews cover Tails Adventure, an action-adventure game starring Tails, showcasing exploration and his special abilities. Gear Stadium Heisei version, a baseball game, is praised for its simple controls. Upcoming titles include Sonic Labyrinth and GG Madu Monogatari. The Capcom Summer Festival '95, a fighting game tournament, is highlighted. The event featured Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter, the movie, and X-Men, Children of the Atom. The article includes photos of the main stage, top players, and a cosplay contest, with impressive costumes from Darkstalkers and Street Fighter, noting the attention to detail on the Guile cosplayer's hair. This page covers a variety of news, including upcoming events and new media releases. An event called CSG is announced for Osaka and Tokyo, giving players a chance to try out unreleased games on platforms like Sega Saturn and PlayStation. A large table lists tentative Sega Saturn titles announced at a previous CSG event, covering various genres from fighting games like King of Fighters 95 and Street Fighter Zero Alpha to RPGs like Lunar and Simulations. Another event celebrated the release of the Cyberbots Full Metal Madness Perfect Collection, featuring Rumi Shishido, the voice actress for the character Lime. The event included talk shows and quizzes. A section titled New Media Scramble highlights upcoming CD and video releases related to games and anime. This includes music creds for games like The King of Fighters 95, World Heroes Perfect, Street Fighter Zero, and Panzer Dragoon, as well as compilation creds of retro game music. Game music is dead. There are also drama and vocal creds tied to series like Tokimeki Memorial and Angelique, plus video releases for titles such as Darius Gaiden and World Heroes Perfect. Finally, the page announces the winners of a reader survey contest from the previous month, with a note mentioning potential delays in prize shipping. This page launches a new series called Saturn Spirit, diving into the passionate feelings of developers creating games for the platform. The main feature highlights Riverhill Soft and their mission to push the boundaries of technology, focusing on their adventure game, Blue Chicago Blues. Developers from Riverhill Soft discuss the unique challenges of bringing real-life video footage to the Saturn, detailing the extensive filming and editing processes required for the game, which is part of the J.B. Harold series. They talk about the limitations of the hardware compared to PC development, and the intricate work involved in optimizing video and graphics to achieve the highest possible quality on the console. Interviews with Managing Director Rikako Suzuki, Production Department's Takuya Miyagawa, Programmer Kinya Yokoyama, and designer Toshiaki Kawasaki provide insight into these technical hurdles and the creative decisions made to deliver a compelling interactive experience, emphasizing the goal of an unobtrusive control system for adventure games. Screenshots of Blue Chicago Blues are also featured, showcasing its live-action style. This page continues the Saturn Spirit feature, shining a light on the passion behind Sega Saturn game development. This time, we hear from the team at Asmic, focusing on their anime-style adventure title, Hanama Hunter Lime Perfect Collection. Developers like Kushin Yokoyama and Koji Hori from Asmic, along with Seiichiro Nakamura from Silence, discuss the challenges and creative choices involved in bringing a beloved anime series to life on the Saturn. They talk about striving for true anime quality within the constraints of the hardware, emphasizing smooth animation and character expression. The conversation touches on technical hurdles like managing media capacity and ensuring quick response times for an engaging experience. The page features photos of the developers and screenshots showcasing the game's detailed anime graphics and character portraits, including the protagonist Lime. The developers convey their dedication to creating a game that feels authentic to the original animation, highlighting the importance of character design, voice acting, and a compelling story to immerse players in the world of Hanama Hunter Lime. This page is dedicated to a reader survey and prize giveaway, offering popular Sega Saturn games as rewards for participating. Readers are asked a series of questions covering demographics, gaming preferences, magazine feedback, and opinions on current and upcoming Saturn titles. The prizes featured include several notable Sega Saturn games, such as World Advanced Daisen Ryaku, Kutetsu no Senpu, Magic Knight Rayearth, Detana, Twinbee Yahoo, Deluxe Pack, Blue Chicago Blues, and Nobunaga's Ambition, Tenshuki. The page provides instructions on how to fill out the survey postcard correctly, emphasizing the importance of writing clearly for computer processing. It also includes explanations for criteria used in the questionnaire, such as character design, sound quality, playability, and originality, guiding readers on how to rate games. This entire layout serves as a mechanism for the magazine to gather valuable reader data while engaging its audience with exciting game giveaways. This page is the official reader survey and present entry postcard for the October issue of Saturn Fan Magazine. Readers are instructed to attach a 50 yen stamp and fill out their address, name, and phone number to enter the prize giveaway. The core of the survey is the Game Performance Table, where participants can rate specific games across various criteria using a simple symbol system. The postcard also includes several reference lists. Table 1 outlines the articles covered in this month's issue, featuring features on fighting games, RPGs like Shining Force 2 Eyes, and previews. Table 2 lists different gaming magazines, while Table 3 lists various gaming consoles and hardware platforms, including Sega Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and older systems like Mega Drive and PC Engine. Finally, Table 4 presents an extensive list of game titles available on Sega Saturn, Super 32X, Mega Drive, and Mega CD, likely allowing readers to comment on games they own or have played, directly linking this page to the reader feedback and prize elements discussed previously. This page features a deep dive into new Sega Saturn peripherals, and the latest research from the Game Research Lab. First up is the Peripheral Information section, showcasing new ways to enhance your Saturn gaming experience. We see the Mission Stick, an analog joystick designed specifically for 3D shooters, promising improved control for titles like Daytona USA and Panzer Dragoon. It features analog input, multiple buttons, and a trigger. Also highlighted are 3 new controllers, tailored for different preferences. The Fighting Commander SS with rapid fire and slow motion, the SG Tornado Pad, and the SG Tornado Stick, both also featuring rapid-fire capabilities, perfect for arcade-style games and shooters. The text points out the modular nature of the Tornado Stick, allowing different configurations. The Game Research Lab Special presents file number 6, focusing on game analysis. This month, they've ramped up the research volume. The main subject is Graduation 2, Neo Generation, delving into the intricacies of raising students, including exploring hidden parameters like spirit and friendship that influence outcomes. While detailed charts on parameter changes and compatibility are mentioned, the focus is on the depth these systems add to the game. Other titles briefly mentioned in the lab's index include School's Scary Rumors, Hanako-san is Here, Wah! And Blazing Tornado. This page offers a comprehensive strategy guide for the Sega Saturn title, Graduation 2, Neo Generation. It delves deep into the game's intricate simulation systems, starting with a detailed breakdown of how various student activities and classes influence their parameters. Actions like attending classes, visiting the library, or engaging in clubs affect visible stats such as physical strength, affection, respect, and academic scores, as well as hidden traits like spirit and composure. The guide also explains the impact of exam results on student evaluation and academic motivation throughout their 3 years of high school. A significant portion is dedicated to the conditions required for achieving the game's numerous endings. For various student characters like Misako Ishibashi, Cindy Sakurai, and others, specific stat thresholds, charm, dignity, academic levels, affection, etc., are necessary to unlock outcomes ranging from successful careers and marriage to less fortunate paths. The guide also covers conditions for the player character's own teacher endings and other unique outcomes like becoming an idol or private detective. Finally, it highlights events exclusive to the Sega Saturn version, including the Summer Festival, Christmas, New Year's Shrine Visit, and Valentine's Day, which provide unique gameplay moments and opportunities to interact with the students. This page is essential for players aiming to guide their students towards specific futures. This page presents a detailed strategy guide for the Sega Saturn game, Hanako-san of the Toilet Has Arrived, School Edition. The guide focuses on navigating the school premises, completing objectives, and overcoming challenges posed by various spirits and entities to defeat the demonic ambassador. It utilizes an objective chart system to map out the necessary steps, directing players through different floors and key locations like the library, art room, music room, and gymnasium. Progress often involves solving quizzes and succeeding in mini-games, such as assembling a puzzle or mastering a rhythm game. Encounters with characters like Nobuya, Teke Teke, Tonkaraton, and Yomi-san are highlighted, often requiring specific actions like solving puzzles or engaging in mini-games to proceed or save them. The guide covers finding mirror shards scattered throughout the school, essential for weakening the main antagonists. It provides tips for specific mini-games and quizzes encountered on different floors. The latter part of the guide covers escaping the pool area and returning to the old school building for the final confrontation, emphasizing the Great Final Battle minigame needed to seal the demonic ambassador. The page also briefly mentions the inclusion of movie scenes within the game, adding to the narrative experience. Overall, it's a comprehensive walkthrough designed to help players navigate the horror-filled school and see the game through to completion. This page features a comprehensive guide for the Sega Saturn game Fire Pro Wrestling S, Blazing Tornado, covering the complete technique lists for the 8 main wrestlers including Fire Apart, Zama, Wolfie, Saigu, Hayate, Hao, Bolnoy, and Eric. It serves as an essential reference for mastering each character's special moves, strikes, holds, and other techniques during gameplay. The page also includes a Saturn Speed Report, highlighting the upcoming release of Twinbee Yahoo! Deluxe Pack. This Konami title is a classic vertical scrolling shooter, known for its charming, pastel graphics and cheerful atmosphere, a refreshing contrast to many other arcade titles. The Deluxe Pack includes Detana, Twinbee, along with other Twinbee titles. The report notes features like sampled voices and the variety of power-ups available. Screenshots show the game's option menu and the vibrant, Two-player simultaneous gameplay. This page features a look at two upcoming Saturn RPGs. On the left is the tentative Legend of Oasis, a power-up of the Mega Drive hit Beyond Oasis. It's an action RPG, shown from a top-down perspective, featuring diverse actions and weapons. The report highlights the promising quality of the graphics and sound, even at an early stage of development. Character art for the game's elemental spirits like Taito, Elliot, Brass, Leon, Shade, Iru and Bao is prominently displayed. On the right, we see Eris Adventure, an RPG developed by Game Studio, known for its powerful visual presentation. It features a unique 3D field view with rotating perspectives, offering a dynamic visual experience, unlike typical RPGs of the time. The game is set in 17th century Europe and follows an 18-year-old protagonist saved from execution by Queen Corinne, setting the stage for a grand adventure. Screenshots show the game's 3D environments and character models, including exploration indoors. This page dives into X-Men, Children of the Atom for the Sega Saturn, straight from the arcade. It breaks down the core fighting systems carried over, focusing on the intense, high-speed movement and aerial combat that define the game. A key element is the X power gauge, which builds during combat and is crucial for unleashing powerful special moves. The page explains how this gauge is earned by attacking and defending, and how different levels of power allow access to stronger techniques. It also highlights the game's guarding system, including an auto-guard option for beginners. The main focus, however, is showcasing the devastating HyperX moves of key characters like Wolverine, Iceman, and Psylocke, illustrating how mastering the X power gauge leads to battlefield dominance with these ultimate attacks. The article emphasizes that strategic use of these powered-up abilities is key to victory. This page covers the adventure game J.B. Harold, Blue Chicago Blues, an authentic detective story with a decade-long history on the Sega Saturn. This iteration stands out by incorporating Hollywood-style video production and actors for a more immersive experience. The game puts you in the shoes of seasoned detective J.B. Harold, who travels to Chicago to investigate a complex murder case involving his deceased lover, Catherine White, and a young high school student named Angie Hart. You have just 4 days to solve the mystery. To crack the case, you'll need to navigate between 5 key areas in Chicago: Lincoln Park, River North, Grant Park, the Loop, and the South Loop. These locations include crucial places like the crime scene at the planetarium, Angie's home and school, Catherine's clinic, your hotel, a local bar for information, and the police headquarters where you work with partner Ted Rawson and utilize forensics and computer databases. The screenshots showcase the investigation interface, character portraits, and clips from the game's live-action video sequences, giving you a glimpse into the world and the various individuals connected to the tragic events. It's a race against the clock to uncover the truth hidden within the Windy City. This page introduces the golf simulation game, Masters, on the Sega Saturn. It highlights significant power-ups in both graphics and the overall system compared to previous versions, bringing the Masters tournament experience to life. The game offers various modes suitable for beginners and experienced players alike, including a training mode, match play against another player, and a full 18-hole tournament mode where you compete against computer opponents aiming for victory at Augusta National. You can select from multiple players and caddies, each with different characteristics. Gameplay features a detailed interface for strategic play. You can adjust tee placement, select clubs based on distance and course conditions, and fine-tune your stance and swing power using intuitive meters. The game provides helpful visual aids like ball trajectory previews, multiple camera angles, including an aerial view, detailed shot information, and a course guide that breaks down each hole with polygon and real image visuals accompanied by commentary. Mastering shot techniques, understanding wind, and utilizing the course guide are crucial for success. The screenshots showcase the vibrant graphics, the various gameplay screens for shot setup, camera views, and the player/caddy selection menus. It emphasizes the realism and depth for serious golf fans. This page dives into the action-packed world of Steel Gear MASH on the Sega Saturn. It introduces the protagonist, MASH, a charming robot tasked with rescuing the kidnapped Mina from the clutches of the evil Emperor Gash. The game features a distinct quarter-view perspective, offering a strategic look at the environments. Gameplay involves navigating stages, battling Gash's army, and using MASH's abilities. A key mechanic is the sub-weapon system, which changes based on items collected, adding a puzzle element as certain blocks require specific sub-attacks to clear. Special moves also become available through item collection, enhancing MASH's mobility and combat options. The page showcases a variety of environments MASH will traverse in his quest, from castles and factories to underwater areas and even space. Screenshots highlight the game's isometric graphics, different enemy types, and the challenging boss battles, such as the Castle King. The overall tone suggests an exciting action game with a mix of shooting, platforming, and item-based progression. This page features Wing Arms, a spectacular 3D shooting game for the Sega Saturn. Putting players in the cockpit during World War II. As an ace pilot of the Avalon Army, your mission is to protect the carrier Enterprise and push back the enemy forces. The game boasts realistic flight dynamics and comfortable 3D shooting action, offering adjustable camera perspectives. Combat involves cannons and rockets, with weapons featuring details like overheating. Control options cater to both novice and expert players, providing a simulation-like feel. The feature walks through the initial missions, including carrier strikes, base assaults, fortress destruction, carrier defense, and bomber interception. A major highlight is the selection of famous World War II aircraft you can fly, such as the Zero, Hellcat, Spitfire, Lightning, Mustang, and the Me-262 jet. Screenshots showcase the detailed views and attention to realism, from cockpit perspectives to battle damage effects. The content clearly appreciates the effort put into recreating the era's aircraft and naval battles. This page covers the WW2 flight shooter Wing Arms on Sega Saturn, detailing its gameplay and featured aircraft. This page dives into the latest historical simulation title arriving on the Sega Saturn, Nobunaga's Ambition, Tenshuki. As a longtime fan of the series, I'm excited to see this entry make its console debut. The game throws you back into Japan's turbulent Sengoku period, challenging you to rise as a powerful daimyo. This iteration boasts a significantly evolved warrior system. Character abilities go beyond simple stats, incorporating various skills like assassination, sabotage, and diplomacy, which are crucial for strategic success both on and off the battlefield. The game introduces a new Army Corps system, changing how military units are organized and commanded, adding a fresh layer of depth to warfare. You can delve deep into character data, checking not only combat prowess, but also relationships, status, and loyalty, which are vital for managing your domain. New cultural elements and events, such as Hekiro contests and tea ceremonies, provide unique ways to influence warriors and potentially turn the tide of conflict. The page also highlights improved visuals, including a CG opening sequence, and assures veteran players that while much has improved, the core strategic gameplay they love remains intact. This page previews Nobunaga's Ambition, Tenshuki, detailing its evolved warrior system, new Army Corps, and cultural events for the Sega Saturn release. This page showcases Hang-On GP95 for the Sega Saturn, a racing game evolving the classic arcade motorbike experience with a focus on realism. It puts players in the rider's seat, emphasizing authentic bike handling and leaning through corners. You can choose from 5 different bike types, each with varied performance stats. The game offers 3 camera perspectives during gameplay and replays, including a first-person view. Races take place on challenging, original elevated courses, such as Albatross, Cliff Reef, and Great Crimson Wall. Mastering techniques like power slides is crucial for success. In the main GP race mode, avoiding collisions with opponents is key to preventing crashes and losing time. Pit stops add another strategic layer. For veteran riders, a demanding high-side mode option ramps up the difficulty by introducing realistic, sudden crashes if mistakes are made. This page previews Hang-On GP95, highlighting its realistic bike physics, multiple machine types, original courses, and challenging gameplay modes on the Sega Saturn. This page features Treasure Hunter Lime Perfect Collection for the Sega Saturn, an adventure game structured like an anime series. It includes 8 episodes across 2 discs and features the Demon Hunter Lime who battles monsters with the power of cosplay and transformation. The game blends adventure elements with anime presentation. Players guide Lime and her partner parse through a story involving hunting for scattered demon jewels. The system uses classic adventure commands like look, talk, think, and move to progress. A highlight is the BGV mode, which allows players to watch the game's story as a continuous anime after clearing it. Key characters introduced include the energetic demon hunter Lime, her spherical sidekick Pars, and a human girl named Mizuki. The production boasts character designs by Izumi Matsumoto, known for Orange Road, and features a cast of popular voice actors. The screenshots show various anime-style scenes and the adventure interface. This page focuses on King of Boxing, the Sega Saturn iteration based on the PC game 4D Boxing, highlighting its polygon graphics and Saturn-specific enhancements. It's a boxing simulation where players create their own fighter and aim to become the world champion. The game features 3D polygon boxers and allows players to freely move around the ring. Key aspects include basic attack and defense techniques, parameter customization focusing on speed, power, and stamina, and progression through a ranking system with 30 opponents. There are 3 modes available: main event to challenge ranked fighters, sparring for practice, and versus mode for head-to-head matches. The page also offers strategic advice on combat, such as maintaining distance and knowing when to escape or rush. Different camera viewpoints are shown, suggesting player choice and perspective. This page is dedicated to the Sega Saturn game based on the popular manga and anime, Slam Dunk. It showcases the game's features, modes, and key characters. The game, titled Slam Dunk, is presented as the first basketball game on the Saturn based on the hit anime. It highlights that the game camera often faces the direction of the goal. 2 main game modes are featured: Story Mode, which follows the narrative from the manga/anime, starting with Hanamichi Sakuragi joining the basketball club, and Versus Mode, allowing players to freely set up matches against the computer or another player. The Versus Mode offers customizable settings for match duration and difficulty. The page emphasizes the importance of player abilities and formations for winning games. It explains that players can choose offensive and defensive formations, 7 offensive, 8 defensive, and adjust player positions. Formations are key, and experimenting to find the best one is advised. Player condition, stamina, is a factor, and tired players should be substituted. Basic controls are explained as simple, primarily using the directional pad for movement, and A/B buttons for actions like pass, shoot, and dribble. Finally, the page introduces some of the main teams and their key players, including Shohoku High, Ryonen High, Kainan High, and others. Portraits and basic stats like height and position are shown for prominent characters from these teams, such as Sakuragi, Rukawa, Akagi, Sendo, and Maki. Screenshots illustrate gameplay, formation selection screens, and character portraits. This page covers 2 distinct Sega Saturn titles. First up is Metal Fighter Miku, a simulation battle game where combat unfolds in real times. Success hinges on strategic command registration and precise timing. You'll need to master escaping critical situations with rapid inputs, and utilize training mode to enhance your character's parameters. The game features 5 distinct types of techniques to deploy against opponents. Screenshots show the intense character combat and the command registration interface. The second game featured is Ochan no Oki Logic, known internationally as a Picross or nonogram-style puzzle game. Here, you use numerical hints along the grid edges to fill in squares and complete pixel art pictures. The game stars Sunsoft's charming mascots, including Hibarique. It offers multiple modes, including a story mode, versus challenges against another player, a mode to create your own puzzles, and random puzzles for endless fun. Screenshots display the puzzle grids in various stages of completion, and the game's adorable character roster. This page features 2 different Sega Saturn titles. On the left is Breakthrough, a puzzle game based on a PC title, and supervised by Alexei Pajitnov, the creator of Tetris. The gameplay involves clearing blocks of the same color by aligning them horizontally or vertically. You need to strategize to clear all blocks on the screen, which can involve using items and managing blocks that fall into place. The screenshots demonstrate the colorful block clearing action. The right side of the page covers Quantum Gate 1, Overture of Evil, an adventure game set in the year AD 2057. This game utilizes CGI backgrounds and full-motion video for its visuals. A key feature is that the story progresses through voice-acted conversations, moving away from traditional text-based dialogue. Exploration takes place in a 3D environment, specifically within a base on an alien planet. Screenshots show detailed character video portraits and representations of the 3D environments you navigate. This page dives into 2 distinct Sega Saturn experiences. On the left, we have Magical Warrior Poemi, a mahjong game presented in a vibrant anime style, described as having OVA-level animation quality. This isn't just a simple mahjong title. It features a slightly erotic magical girl theme, with characters designed by the notable Ano Shingo. You can enjoy the game through a story mode, complete with animated sequences between matches, or jump straight into the action in free battle mode. It even includes unique magic abilities players can use during mahjong rounds, adding a strategic twist. Over on the right is Shogi Matsuri, a comprehensive shogi game developed in collaboration with the Japan Shogi Association. This title is packed with an incredible amount of data and shogi knowledge, offering far more than just standard matches. Players can participate in various shogi tournaments, practice against the computer in the match room, test their knowledge with a shogi quiz, tackle challenging shogi puzzles in the Tsume Shogi Dojo, or study famous historical games in the Meikyoku Kanshu mode. It even includes detailed data on professional players. This game seems designed to be a complete shogi resource for enthusiasts. This page features two distinct gaming experiences, one for the Sega Saturn and one for the Mega CD. On the left, we have Issei Meijin, a shogi game ported from the PC 9801. It focuses on a more understated presentation compared to flashier titles, but offers a deep shogi experience. The Saturn version brings enhancements like improved computer AI, added BGM, and an opening demo. It boasts features catering to players from beginners to experts, including various game modes like playing against the computer or another player, tackling shogi puzzles, Natsume Shogi, and even reliving famous historical matches. It seems designed as a solid, feature-rich shogi simulator. The right side highlights the Mega CD title Fahrenheit, an adventure game that puts you in the boots of a firefighter. The core mission is to combat fires and rescue people under intense pressure. The page emphasizes the dramatic atmosphere of battling blazes, the importance of quick thinking, and managing time effectively. Screenshots showcase cutscenes and the first-person perspective during firefighting operations, giving a glimpse into the perilous situations players will face. The content highlights the urgency and the human element of the rescue effort. This page showcases two thrilling sports titles. On the left, we have NBA Jam Tournament Edition, which delivers the electrifying, arcade-style action of NBA basketball. This version features an expanded roster of superstar players and teams, letting you experience fast-paced 2-on-2 matchups filled with spectacular dunks, precise shooting, and strategic defense. It includes multiple game modes for solo play, practice, or challenging friends, highlighting the unique abilities of each NBA star and the importance of mastering turbocharged moves. On the right, we move into the squared circle with WWF Raw. This game brings the larger-than-life personalities and hard-hitting action of World Wrestling Federation to life, featuring 12 prominent wrestlers from that era. You can compete in various match types, from standard singles contests to multi-man brawls like the Royal Rumble. The gameplay focuses on combining basic wrestling maneuvers with each superstar's signature, devastating special moves to achieve victory. The page previews several fan-favorite wrestlers, giving a taste of the varied fighting styles and finishing moves available in the game. It promises intense and dramatic wrestling confrontations. This page serves as a guide to various hidden techniques and cheats across several Sega titles. For Clockwork Knight on the Sega Saturn, players can learn how to take control of the bosses in the initial stages after inputting a sequence, with details provided on their movesets. Virtual On, Cyber Troopers enthusiasts can find a shortcut to instantly end a match through a specific button combination while paused. For the Game Gear title Shining Force Gaiden, secrets include unlocking a sound test mode and increasing the game's difficulty from the beginning. Another Game Gear game shows a secret password feature, likely unlocking a special mode based on the world map interface displayed. More tips for Shining Force Gaiden reveal how to recruit hidden characters such as Kojiro and Sasaki by investigating specific locations within the game world. Lastly, the Sega Saturn game Slam Dunk, I Love Basketball features tricks for character selection, allowing both players in a versus match to pick the same character and enabling a change in Hanamichi Sakuragi's hairstyle. This page dives into helpful tips and previews upcoming Sega software. First up, for Shinobi Legions, players can unlock Expert Mode and gain 99 lives through specific button sequences on the title screen, stock up on 999 shuriken from the options menu, and even re-watch the opening movie by inputting a command after it initially displays. These are great boosts for tackling the challenging ninja action. Next, Digital Pinball. Last Gladiators offers a cheat to activate multiball during gameplay by entering a specific command and manipulating a displayed number. It's a neat trick for pinball enthusiasts looking to rack up high scores. There's also a section calling for readers to submit cheats and secrets they've discovered for various Sega consoles like the Saturn, Super 32X, Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear. The main focus shifts to a preview for the Tenchi Muyo Gokuraku Crudram on the Sega Saturn. This is an adventure game based on the popular anime series, originally released on PC CD-ROM. It features an extensive database with profiles and data on the characters, a large quiz section covering different genres, a look at items from the anime, a sound test for effects, and a gallery of illustrations. It seems like a must-have for fans of the series looking for an interactive experience. The page also mentions that the next Tenchi Muyo game is already in the works. This page previews a lineup of upcoming Sega Saturn games across various genres. First up is Fry 1 Live Information, a racing simulation aiming for realism with polygon models for cars and tracks, featuring both real-world and original circuits. The focus is on the detailed polygonal environments and vehicles. Next, J. League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru, a simulation game where you manage and build a Japanese soccer club. It utilizes motion-captured players and delves into the strategic aspects of club management, from training and facilities to rivalries. Following that is Sega International Victory Goal, an evolution of the soccer series, expanding to international teams. It boasts improved AI and controls compared to its predecessor. Or something different, X-Japan Virtual Shock 001 is an adventure game centered around the band X-Japan, involving exploring backstage areas and featuring concert footage that can even be edited. Finally, Baku Baku Animal, a charming puzzle game where you drop blocks of animals and food, featuring competitive play with adorable characters. The page highlights the use of polygon graphics and enhanced gameplay features across these diverse titles. This page features a collection of upcoming Sega Saturn titles. Kicking things off is Faradun, a 3D action RPG where players tackle challenges from different character perspectives, navigating traps and engaging in combat using a variety of weapons and items. The preview highlights characters like Monica, Melkalt, and Leon. Next up is Mobile Suit Gundam, presented as an action title. The game features detailed 3D models of mobile suits and promises dynamic combat, with enemies approaching from various angles in 3D space. Screenshots showcase iconic mechs and different attack animations. For sports fans, Virtual Open Tennis brings a realistic tennis simulation to the system. It boasts 3D polygon graphics for courts and players, multiple camera views, and various gameplay modes including exhibition, training, and a championship tournament, featuring a roster of selectable players. Finally, the preview covers Super Real Mahjong Graffiti, a mahjong game continuing the series' legacy on the Saturn. This entry features characters from previous installments like P2 and PIV, updated with new graphics. The preview confirms that the series' signature adult content is still a feature. The changes mentioned focus on the graphical updates and character appearances. The Sega Saturn's upcoming releases feature a diverse mix of genres. Ports of Laserdisc games like Thunderstorm and Road Blaster bring arcade action home. Quo Vadis, a simulation RPG, blends story and strategic space battles, boasting character designs by Yoshizaki Mine. Pro Mahjong Kiwame S offers mahjong enthusiasts a chance to challenge professional players. King the Spirits provides polygonal racing action with tuning options and split-screen multiplayer. Gunbird, a vertical shooter, delivers fast-paced arcade combat. Lastly, Virtual Racing Saturn expands upon the arcade classic, with new tracks, car types, and a Grand Prix mode, also offering split-screen multiplayer. This lineup promises a variety of gaming experiences. This page covers several exciting upcoming Saturn titles and industry news. First up is America Across Ultra Quiz, a massive quiz game based on a popular TV show, covering history and general knowledge as you journey across the US. It features various quiz formats seen in the show. Next, Idol Mahjong Suchipai Remix brings the arcade mahjong game with anime girls to Saturn. This version allows access to graphics that were previously restricted, letting fans fully enjoy the character art. Puyo Puyo 2 is also featured, bringing the incredibly popular puzzle game to the system. It includes new characters and battle dialogue sequences, ensuring the arcade experience is faithfully ported. Virtua Fighter 2, a major Saturn flagship title, is highlighted. It boasts features like an 8-player tournament mode and costume color options, showing off the impressive polygonal graphics of the arcade hit. Finally, the Hot Topic information section confirms the big news following E3. Street Fighter Zero, Street Fighter Alpha, is officially coming to Saturn. This is huge for fighting game fans. The section also briefly touches on other planned releases like Chaos Control and Theme Park, but the Street Fighter Alpha announcement is the clear highlight. This page showcases a couple of interesting titles coming to the Sega Saturn. On the left, we have Rayman, described as a new sensation hero appearing in a stylish action-scrolling game. Originating from France, the game boasts fresh and unique graphics across its 6 stages and features an engaging battle system. The goal is to save the Electoons and restore peace to the beautiful world. Rayman's distinctive look, lacking limbs, is prominently featured alongside screenshots showing off the colorful environments. It was scheduled for release in autumn 1995. On the right, the page focuses on Tenchi Muyo, Gokuraku Kurdram for Sega Saturn. This Kurdram title, based on the popular anime, offers a variety of content, including a quiz mode with over 100 questions, beautiful original CG artwork, and voice acting by 7 cast members. There's also a campaign mentioned where sending in a survey postcard could win you original goods like a large poster or pen. The game was set to release on September 29th for 7,800 yen. The section features character art from the anime and details about the game's content. A small ad below recruits development staff, and another section promotes a campaign to support the Kuru brothers. This page features 2 distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left is Blazing Tornado, a spin-off from the Fire Pro Wrestling series, presented as a 3D fighting game with wrestling roots. It challenges all Saturn users with its impressive graphics, over 150 pro wrestling techniques, varied gameplay modes, and a unique timing input system for intense battles. The section showcases character designs for the diverse roster and action-packed gameplay screenshots. The right side highlights the Psychotron, a mystery adventure game. Set for an October release, this title involves the player, on behalf of the CIA, investigating the whereabouts of a mysterious Russian secret weapon known as the Psychotron. Gameplay appears to involve navigating through static screens and possibly FMV sequences, as shown in the screenshots featuring interface elements and character portraits. A notable point is the voice acting, provided by well-known figures, adding depth to the narrative-driven experience. This page features 2 distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left is the Golf Simulation Masters, developed by ET and eSoft. This entry, Harukanaru Augusta 3, brings the prestigious Masters tournament experience to the Saturn, showcasing significant graphical improvements with double the polygon count for more realistic environments, water effects, and course details. It includes modes like the Masters Records Challenge for players aiming to break historic scores. The game was scheduled for a September 22nd release. The right side highlights Koei's strategy simulation game, Gotha 2, Tenku no Kishi. Featured with impressive aerial mech artwork, it's described as a new era for simulation games, breaking traditional SLG boundaries. The game boasts a free map system, deep customization of units and formations, character development, and multiple story paths and endings. This strategic title was slated for a December release. The lower part of the page contains details regarding ordering and sales. This page presents details on 2 distinct titles from Microcabin. On the left is the acclaimed simulation game, Princess Maker 2, making its debut on the Sega Saturn. Known for its deep gameplay centered on raising a daughter, the Saturn version boasts enhanced graphics and features over 100 characters. The artwork prominently displays the daughter character, reflecting the game's focus on growth. This highly anticipated port was scheduled for release in October 95 at a standard price of 7,800 yen. Featured on the right is the 3D title, Sword and Sorcery, described as a next-generation real-stage RPG. The page highlights its thematic premise: forging a path in a desolate world using only sword and magic, a legend passed down through generations. The game introduces innovative features, like the real stage for exploration, and 3D terrain diorama battles for tactical combat, shown through multiple screenshots. Sword and Sorcery was slated for a September 14, 95 release on the 3D platform, priced at 6,800 yen, with a limited first print bonus. This page features an advertisement for the Tokyo Game Designer Academy on the left, outlining their extensive courses in game design, art, scenario writing, sound creation, and multimedia development. The right side is clearly the dynamic cover for Saturn Fan Volume 2, dominated by bold artwork of Chunsali, likely hinting at a Street Fighter feature inside. The cover proudly announces the inclusion of 3 playable demo versions: the intense fighting game Golden Axe, the Duel, the visually unique platformer Rayman, and the puzzle action title Breakthrough. It also hypes up 3 major features within the issue, delving into the highly anticipated Virtua Fighter 2, the acclaimed rally racer Sega Rally Championship, and the arcade hit Virtua Cop, noting enhanced large-screen visuals for the latter. The cover also teases a lottery prize for Virtua Cop. This issue was released on September 8 for 1,600 yen. This page features 2 distinct promotions for Sega Saturn titles. On the left is an advertisement for the Yakyukin Special, clearly marketed as an adult game featuring 12 real women as opponents. This kind of live-action interactive game was quite common on the Saturn in Japan. On the right, we have a vibrant advertisement for Honey in the Sky Lime Perfect Collection, an anime-style adventure game compilation. It highlights the digital animation, unique characters, and a heartwarming story, promising cosplay and transformation scenes along with op/ed songs, offering an experience akin to a TV anime series. This page is your essential guide to what's coming up on Sega platforms, laying out the release calendar across the Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, Mega CD, Super 32X, and even the Game Gear. It's a deep dive into the near future, showing us which titles are hitting shelves for the first time this month and further out. For the Sega Saturn, we see a comprehensive list stretching months ahead and into '96, featuring upcoming heavy hitters and niche titles alike. Key releases like different versions of Virtua Fighter, the fighting action of King of Fighters, '95, and the unique platforming of Rayman are highlighted amongst many others. The Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Super 32X section covers the continued support for Sega's earlier systems, featuring titles appearing for the first time on the calendar. We see games like The Bazaar the Ooze, the 32X port of Virtua Fighter, and sports titles like FIFA Soccer 96 and NBA Basketball, keeping those consoles relevant. Even the portable Game Gear gets its own list, though shorter, featuring games like FIFA International Soccer. The editor's postscript offers a personal take, discussing the start of a new Saturn feature, perhaps related to adult games based on the previous page, and the challenge of reviewing certain titles. It gives a glimpse into the editorial process and the reviewer's perspective on the gaming landscape. This page is packed with upcoming game information across Sega's entire hardware lineup. This page is a vibrant advertisement for the Sega Saturn fighting game, X-Men: Children of the Atom, developed and published by Capcom. The page features the game's logo and dynamic screenshots, showcasing mutant battles with characters like Wolverine and Psylocke. Key gameplay elements highlighted include expansive, free-scrolling stages, and the execution of simple special moves and powerful X-power attacks that allow for impressive combos. The ad promotes this competitive fighting title, which was scheduled for release on September 29th, priced at 5,800 yen, bringing the arcade experience home.